The Village of Davis Junction regular board meeting at 7 o'clock. You can take roll call, Sandy.
Yep. I have Trustees Chris Samples,
Here.
Talbot.
Here.
William, nope, skipping over that one. Nathan Maz,
Here.
Jen Christensen,
Here.
Bill Motisi,
Here.
temporary chairperson and trustee William Luxinger.
Here.
President Rick Worm is absent. Treasurer Brenda Onamedi.
Here.
High clerk Sandy Mazen here. Public works supervisor Brett Berge.
Here.
You can all stand up and say the pledge of allegiance.
We have no public today.
We've never had. Oh, you mean on the line?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, good.
That's what I said.
I was surprised. You could read off the,
Consent agenda items.
yeah,
Tonight for approval on the consent agenda, I have items number 1, the March 8th, 2022 regular board meeting minutes. Item number 2 is the bills payable warrant list dated April 12th, 2022 for a total of $35,116.08. Item number 3 is ordinance number 22-04, an ordinance establishing fees, charges, fines, penalties, and other regulatory measures, the annual fee ordinance. And item number 4 is resolution number 22-13, a resolution approving and authorizing execution of quote from Gasaboda and Associates, Inc. for influent sampler for wastewater treatment plant.
at this time, does any board member wish to pull an item from the consent agenda for further discussion?
Just a question. Give me a moment here. We have, okay, which one again? Okay, we have an ordinance, number 2204. And that's going to establish fees, charges, fines, penalties, and other regulatory measures and annual fee ordinance. Is that correct?
It's the
Are we
update.
going to discuss this tonight, or is it's in the consent agenda? Is that correct?
This is in the consent agenda, but it was discussed at last 2 weeks meeting, 2 weeks ago. We discussed the increase in the garbage charge. So you'll notice the red line inside of that document is only for an increase in the garbage fees to match what we're being charged as a pass-through.
Yeah, went from 1575 to 1834.
I think if there's any further discussion, you should pull it.
Let's see, if I want to talk about this, I'm going to have to have it pulled out. Okay, if we don't mind. It shouldn't take too long, just some
You
simple
want to pull
questions.
22? or
Number 3, number 3.
Okay, I move to place agenda items 1, 2, and 4 inclusively as consent agenda items. Further, I move that all items be considered together as a consent agenda.
Second.
Jen made a motion to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, and 4. Pursuant to the omnibus vote procedures and Nate seconded. Good enough.
Close enough.
Okay, good.
Roll call.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William.
Yes.
I move to adopt items 1, 2, and 4 inclusively on the consent agenda in a single group pursuant to the omnibus vote procedure specified in the Illinois Municipal Code.
Second.
Jen made a motion to adopt the consent agenda items 1, 2, and 4 pursuant to the Illinois Municipal Code omnibus vote. John seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Bill,
yes,
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Is that close enough?
No, you had them reversed, but I got it. Jen said them the right order, so that's what counts.
Need a motion for number 3.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 22-04, an ordinance establishing fees, charges, fines, penalties, and other regulatory measures or other known as our annual fee ordinance.
A second.
Jen made a motion to approve ordinance number 22-04, an ordinance establishing fees, charges, fines, penalties, and other regulatory measures, was seconded by Nate. Discussion.
yes.
Mr. Motis.
I'd like to speak intelligently when I do talk and know all the facts and everything, but sometimes we're not perfect. My intent simply is that we always talk about promoting economic development within our village and what's in the best interest of our residents. Uh, let's see, can any elected official in here tonight tell me why we would not be able to further look at this ordinance and see if we could possibly reduce by maybe as much as 10% our fees and for building permits and businesses coming to town, so that maybe we can germinate and, you know, attract some attention from people who come to Davis Junction
I will, I
and
would,
see what a wonderful community we've got, you know.
I would
in
only,
future.
I'd only rebut on that, that there is no increase to any of those fees in this ordinance at the moment. And if that is the motive of this, I'd suggest that that come back at a committee meeting.
Well, it's going to be too late for a committee meeting because we're doing this now.
We can change this ordinance anytime we want. It's our ordinance.
Hold on,
No.
hold on. Bill, I
Wait.
realize what the confusion is. There's no change in the ordinance except for
I
one line item. So you're only approving that one change. The rest of the ordinance already exists.
Okay.
So those
fine.
fees are already our
Why,
fees.
okay. I'm talking with all our trustees and I know you're always busy working on a lot of this stuff.
Seeing as I write it, I'm happy to answer the questions on it too.
Well, I don't need the answer right now from you. And nothing, there's nothing wrong with you doing what you're doing with the ordinances and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I commend you on that, but what I'm saying is that is it possible that we can take a further look at reducing these building permits and anything we can do with this ordinance to attract business to come into our community and make it a lot palatable for builders, people who want to do things in our village so that we can get moving. Now, Bill, you're saying that we can bring this up at committee level. And we're all on the committee for, for community development. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And this is what you're saying that we should talk about at that time?
Not yet.
You're
That,
saying
that,
we
the
can bring
only,
it up?
the only change to this ordinance tonight is the increase that Waste Management is charging the village to pick up residential trash. So we're only passing
Sure.
that on. That's the only change.
Okay,
There's no change to the permit fees that you're asking. So it would just be my suggestion and my hope that
Yeah.
you could just bring it up at a committee meeting
sure.
rather than the regular board meeting.
I have no objection to that, and I just wanted to get some clarification on this ordinance. Thank you.
No problem. Any other discussion? Very- Roll call, please.
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes,
All right. We have passed all the items on the agenda. Moving on to the reports of the officers, president and the utility drawing. One.
Yeah, no, that can also wait.
Okay. Have a discussion and approval of motion rejecting the bid 117 Prairie Moon.
So in Rick's absence, if you don't mind, since I'm not elected at all, I'd like to talk about this.
I would delegate the clerk to discuss the matter on the agenda.
Second.
I included in all the board packets, the singular bid that we did receive for 117 Prairie Moon Drive. As you'll note in the follow-up letter from Mark, that bid does not meet the requirements, the statutory requirements of the minimum bid offer for us to accept it. So therefore, as a matter of course, he's asked that we pass a motion rejecting the bid received for 117 Prairie Moon Drive.
By
So-
law, you apparently have to do. Huh?
What was that?
That was Glenda. Glenda, you're not muted. So if you,
Yep.
That's a killer.
is that a vote to pass?
so if we want to get that. Glenda, can you mute?
Is there a particular number that it has to be? Like,
80.
it's a
Yes, so
resolution?
it
Yeah, what
requires, oh, no, this is just a general motion.
So I'll make a motion
Well-
to, sorry, go ahead.
I'll wait for the discussion, but
Oh, I'll make a motion to formally reject the bid for 111,
117.
sorry, 117 Prairie Moon Drive.
Second.
Chris made a motion to reject the bid for 117 Prairie Moon Drive. It was seconded by Nate. Any discussion?
As I read, sorry, go ahead, but as I read it, you didn't have a choice on whether or not you rejected because it didn't make the 80% minimum of what the appraised value of 13,000
So
was.
once we pass that motion.
Yeah, hold on. I just need to know what page in the packet it's on.
41,
Thank you.
42.
I regretfully did not get it on my laptop, so I apologize. everyone.
I would like to pass that motion and then we can discuss Mark's email about what our options are now moving forward.
Right, somebody had to bid 80% of the 13.
And the only bid that. Glenda, I'm gonna have,
I could do the math on that, but it wasn't close.
all right, yeah, but it was not close.
Yeah, so I said it wasn't even close.
And we did publish that it had to meet that minimum requirement. It did not.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, that's falling short a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they had to bid 10,400 as a minimum and they were 3,500, so.
Yeah, I thought it was
even
13,
close.
but yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds right. yeah.
Well, we were appraised at 13. They had to
13, that's
bid the
right.
minimum
Okay.
Of the 80%. Would you like a roll call on that?
Any other discussion?
You're gonna have to say that again. Are we still talking about this or are you trying to go for a vote?
We're
On
having a dis-
rejection of the bid, right?
we're having a discussion
talk.
on the rejection of the bid
Okay, and then when will we talk about the other possibilities?
after we vote.
Okay,
They're two
Correct.
separate. Yeah, they're two
That's
separate
right.
items. So
That's
let's
right.
get this one off the table and then discuss the
Correct.
future.
Roll call.
correct.
Nathan? This is on a motion, this is to. approve
Forget what I'm
motion
voting on. It's been
rejecting-
so long here.
Okay, it's on this is approving the motion. If you say yes, you are voting in favor of the motion rejecting the bid received for 117
Yes.
Franklin Drive.
I am in favor of
Okay,
rejecting the
Chris?
bid. Yes.
Yes,
William,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
John.
Yes.
it's not like you get a choice.
yeah.
So then I also
Choice
included in
doesn't matter.
everybody's packet this long, detailed summary from Attorney Mark Heinley, letting us know what our next options are. Hold on. So we can,
Competitive bid.
huh?
Competitive bid.
We could do a competitive bid. I noticed at some point we could do some sort of realtor options. I guess I need to know, do you guys want to keep going forward with this?
What do we ultimately want to see as a minimum there?
But it doesn't matter. Once you do the competitive bid, you don't have to do the 80%, right?
The intent of this was to have a structure built on the property.
Yes.
And we can still, according to Mark, we can still put those requirements on anything that we do.
Right, but you could take a lower bid
We could take
then.
a lower bid.
You don't
We
even
feel
have
it's in the
to,
best interest of the village.
well, you don't even have to take the highest bid if they don't
Right.
plan to do what
What
you
you're
want
asking.
with the property. You know, I don't know how you enforce that, but I'm not, because I'm not the attorneys for them, but I assume that there would be a way to enforce that too, so.
Coming from my experience,
I don't
if
understand.
we were to open this up for competitive bidding with the stipulation of building it and we award it to anybody in the neighborhood in the direct area that wishes to buy it, we ended up spending more legal fees and trying to recapture because they didn't.
Do what
I
they
would
were
build it.
supposed to.
Yeah.
So eventually they'd still get their way and we'd have a vacant.
And increase legal fees for fighting to get in the bill.
So I mean, I guess my position would be, I don't have an issue if it stays vacant forever. What I don't want to see is one homeowner that lives adjacent to it slap a big building on it. I'd rather see if we're going to give it away for, let's say he comes back with the same offer when we're in a position to give it away, that it just stays vacant forever. Not a car lot, not parking cars all over, not a accessory structure, just stays vacant.
The only way.
Because if we can tell him he has to build on it, we can tell him that he can't build on it, just the same.
No, I don't know about putting stipulations like that, if that would fly. If somebody buys something,
Why?
what the hell?
Put whatever you
No,
want.
we
I mean,
can't.
what the
We
heck?
can't.
You put
If you
any
read the email
stipulation
from
you
Mark, we
want.
can.
Put any stipulation. you
I know
want.
I'm not elected, but we can.
Yeah.
But
I
you also
understand what
said-
you're saying.
You said you can't enforce that? Is that what you were saying?
If we had to, William's point is very accurate. It costs us more than it's worth.
More money to.
Ah.
put
You'd be better off
forth.
Just give them
Yeah.
away.
Well, we're in no rush, correct?
Conversation.
So the other option would be to sell it and keep it as a pinned parcel. That would prevent them from building just a shed or a garage or anything else, because you have to have a home on there to pull a permit to do those things.
Yeah, but we're in really no rush to sell this thing.
So Mark also had a really good idea, which is maybe reaching out to Habitat to for Humanity.
I saw
in
that.
our
I read that.
area
I think
and
that's a
seeing
good
if they're
idea.
Interested. We'd still have
I
to
think
go
we've
through
done
the,
that.
how many years ago?
Go, yeah, it may be.
10 years ago. So I think maybe it might be worth that. And maybe we hold off on the competitive bid and because maybe they say, you know what, we've got houses planned for the next 2 years, but in that third year, we're looking for something, then that's when we would move in and spend the money on. the
Habitat
process to be
for
able to-
Humanity, like a vocational school or anything like that? Would
No,
that
like
work?
if they-
No, it's
No, it has to be
typically a
residential.
lower income family that gets identified and a home gets built through volunteers and.
Right, right, for the Habitat for Humanity, but like if, I don't know if there's a vocational thing that we.
Yeah,
can
but they
offer
don't
it
pay
up to,
taxes.
Potentially also like in conjunction with this.
Yeah, but they'd have
They
to
don't
build a
pay.
home.
They do.
But just whoever wants, I mean, if
Yeah.
either of them are able to take it.
Once it's done and it gets turned over in the Habitat for
It says,
Humanity.
okay, they've got in parentheses, Bill, and do not pay property taxes. What's the confusion on that? Look in the last paragraph.
The
in the middle.
homeowner would, Habitat wouldn't.
Right.
Habitat doesn't pay taxes until the home is turned over to the
To a
property
home.
owner when they take possession of it.
And they
The
would,
truth, an undeveloped piece of land gets little in property.
farmland gets
Well-
nothing to speak of.
Not that we charge a lot of property taxes
No,
for
we
David's.
So that sounds good to me. I don't know about everybody
I
else.
like it.
Well,
I
I,
think we should specifically since the way
I
the
would,
economy has been, and we do have. I think there's a need in our area for something like that.
I would like to see John's jurisdiction grow a little bit and let our park do something we didn't have it,
Here you go, Bill. Here, this answers your question. The result of the home being constructed and the property returning to the tax rolls eventually.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
um,
Like Brenda, soon it could be, it might be.
but during the time Habitat owns it, you're correct. They would not be paying anything.
Yeah,
So,
I don't even
It's not
recall
anything now,
because
so
correct.
I worked on
I
it
would,
when,
no difference.
I'm happy to reach out to them and then put this on the committee meeting for.
Sounds
I was
good.
just gonna
I
say.
was gonna
let's
say, I think that would
roll
be a
this
great
over to the
idea.
committee
Sandy,
while
would you be
while we-
kind enough to, if it's possible, to pull the cost that I spent that money, I think, knocking that thing down and condemning it, maybe find out how much we actually spent on it. It might be germane to our conversation.
shouldn't-
I would love to ask the treasurer to produce that information.
I don't know that we can ever recoup if that's. what you-
No, I know, I know,
Never
well,
come close.
that's,
We won't recoup on that.
Not, in April, I will not be playing.
Well, obviously, the bids are coming in screaming, let's recoup our money right now, so.
Yeah.
Mean the
That's a-
$3,500.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's probably not even close to recouping.
Even
it,
if you
but-
got 80% of the 13,000.
All right, so
Still-
we will get further information and have it on the committee agenda coming up in a week,
No,
No,
2 weeks.
no, 3
3
weeks.
3 weeks.
there is no
Whenever it is.
meeting next week. 2 weeks from now is the admin. 3 weeks will be your.
That sounds great.
Sounds good.
Right.
Fantastic,
All right.
Sandy. Thank you, Brenda, as well.
Moving on.
Welcome, John.
You got what? Delegate back to the clerk again.
I was going to have a discussion on credit card payments. They have not given me the updated numbers though, so I can't touch that. So I will just hold off on that.
For 3 weeks.
A minimum of at least 2.
Treasurer's
probably
report.
3 at that.
The March treasurer's report is in your packet. If you have any questions, let me know.
Will you be available for a meeting with that?
What?
Just ignore. it. Don't.
Yes, just ignore them.
I
The
just
so-
curious.
The software people have been here. Everything's going smoothly. It's.
Everybody should have noticed it on their new utility bill.
I like the
Yeah.
font, very nice.
I was like, holy cow, I can read it.
Mhm.
We're hoping maybe that'll clarify people I'm paying.
All
Well,
I
it's
saw
just-
was a
but
big dollar
sometimes it
amount.
gets like torn.
Yeah.
in
Wait until they add
places,
the
But this was like
1834.
bright, it was
Yeah.
great.
And you got to get out a magnifying glass to read what the total.
But I think the explanation is great on it.
I didn't read
And Brenda and I have learned that we've been printing and saving a lot of bills that are not reproducible or reports that aren't reproducible. That now we can reproduce. So it looks like our paper load's gonna go down a little bit.
Yep.
I'm
That'd
excited.
be nice.
If you look on the first page of the treasurer's report, you'll see the balance of the IEP loan. We are pretty much right on track to have that
Yeah.
paid off.
2.5.
I'm just waiting
By
for
when?
the
Jane.
final check or the check.
That'd be
goes
nice.
for it.
One less.
Pretty much right on track with the plan we put in 18 months ago.
Yes. Yes.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully the economy kicks around.
I did 5 new building housing application.
Really? For
permits
building
today.
permits? Wow.
I'm assuming
Out in
Louis,
Harlem. Mhm.
Louis.
Well, I think they're probably country homes. I'm not-
Whatever.
one
The
of
country
them.
truck
I mean,
goes
whatever.
Okay,
through our
I
subdivision.
think
so.
it's-
approving the
it's
treasurer's
New Leaf.
report?
It comes from New Leaf.
no, okay, moving on. Reports of the committees, community development.
On Saturday, we had the Easter egg hunt. We had 196 kids registered. Our numbers were down, but I consider it good since we haven't had one since 2019. And they also now have spring soccer, and that also started on that day. But it ran smoothly, more smooth than I expected it to be, since we hadn't done it in a while, and we all were a little rusty, but we got our stuff done. And
Who's the rabbit?
Nobody.
The rabbit is the
the
rabbit.
Easter
He's-
bunny was
he's
the
Mr.
Easter
Easter
bunny.
Bunny.
It was Peter. It was Peter.
That's a private conversation for later.
It was Peter.
Peter Cottondale.
So now that is done, we have the community blood drive on May 31st, which I believe within another week or so, I should have the material for that. And then if you have not seen the advertising for community garage sales, it will be June 9th, 10th, and 11th. And the electronic recycling will be on June 12th. And bulk garbage pickup will be on the 15th.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we elect to coincide our garage sales with the other communities at the very large request of the community?
It was on there. We're gonna get. it was on there.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
thank you.
The other,
Yes.
the other clarification point that I've mentioned a few times is garage sales are a smaller part of a larger event. that
Event,
The three of us
yes.
are putting, the three
Yep.
communities are putting together. And so while that's the first thing to be advertised, there is more.
Gonna be more coming, because we have sent letters out to businesses asking them to do specials for 610 day, that's what we were calling it,
Yeah,
Oh.
to emphasize our small communities here in Ogle County.
and I'd like to say thank you to our boosters and school district. They've
Yep.
actually put together 2 events for that already.
Yep.
I know. that's
My
on the
chest
record.
hurts.
I know.
On the
that.
record. But they were the first 2 to come back with events for that 3-day gathering.
That's nice.
610, that has a ring to it.
Mhm. It was really great when 2 years ago when were planning it, and it was gonna be great, and then it went,
Yeah, so we're starting small
Yeah.
again, and then hopefully things will take off and
Uh-huh.
next year all of Jen and Karen Byron's ideas come to full fruition.
Anything else, John?
no, that's all I have.
All right, moving on to finance myself. Do you have any emergency expenditures?
We do not.
All right, moving on to ordinance enforcement.
Let's see, I have nothing other than the increased traffic on Junction Road there. Would like to bring up that since we do have increased traffic, I wish people, and it's my father's hope, that they would obey the traffic controls that are enforced there. It seems that we have a lot of increased violations, and people should be just cognizant that those signs are there. It's for our own safety, our own well-being, and our own future to obey those things. Thank you.
Parks.
Oh, can
Oh.
I actually add one to his? So a few weeks ago, you sent a letter to that home with the loose dog.
Yes. What,
That dog has been out and about and chasing village employees.
he
I don't-
chased a village employee.
Yes, I don't know if you want to
Oh,
go
wow.
visit them again.
Did
or
we
try
send
to.
that, did you send, would the, may we send another one, and see what occurs on that? And also forward some copies to me of both those things.
Did he get
Wow, that shouldn't be. We should
What kind
get
of dog is it?
compliance on that.
slow on it?
It's a Target dog or a Spud McKinsey. No,
No,
that's
that's that
that's the other dog.
No, it's a
I don't know what this dog is.
Hmm.
Sorry, we have a 2
Canine.
dog problem.
it's a dog.
It's a DOG.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I just want to follow up on that.
Parks.
I have nothing this evening.
streets.
Where do I start?
Hmm.
Where do I start?
At the beginning.
Wherever you'd like.
Oh, okay.
You have nothing on the agenda.
Sorry, that's life. I'll start with Dustin. I'm sure everybody here on this board is familiar with Gus Grabby. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
In 2019, he asked us to perform some maintenance on the ditch that runs through his property, which apparently we had signed an agreement to. In previous village boards had signed an agreement to maintain the ditch if we could run our wastewater, or not our wastewater, sorry, our water out through his property, which basically everything funnels from the two subdivisions underneath Junction Road through that box culvert now through Gus's property. Is everybody familiar with that
Cut
area?
the stone.
Yeah.
Cut the stone?
No, east of the trip is
Hold on.
that,
I'm
what you're
pulling it.
talking about, we bought, we own that. What,
No,
are you
it's down
talking
here.
east of the tracks?
Yes, yes.
The outlet part.
Yes,
Yes.
If you
So
go, if you
here,
went under the
If you
box
look at
culvert,
here, this, I don't know, my mouse moves up there, this part over here.
you know, so, the board agreed, or in previous boards signed an agreement that we would maintain the ditch.
Where are you at now? The
Uh,
red line?
So
Um,
that's
no.
between Harvest and Oakland,
No,
right?
this is between
I'm-
Harvest Glen and the railroad tracks, going
Right.
north-south. So those are the railroad tracks right there, north-south.
Oh, right over that, okay, I know where you're at.
So, it goes under Junction Road and heads out through his property. So, he approached us and said it was getting a bit ragged and could we do some maintenance
The
for,
red outline.
for it?
Yeah, but
Culverts
it's
that goes
kind of
off
in
of the-
here is the
That's
issue.
ours, and then it goes
Yeah.
into what she's.
Yeah, in here is the issue.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know exactly how much of it is his.
well, all that land is.
All
his.
that land is his.
Yeah.
It
that's all
didn't
it is.
seem that long, when we were.
It's
out
not,
there. No.
yeah, it's not crazy.
Well, anyway, he asked us to do some maintenance on it and we discussed it and we were obligated to do something. So,
Looking at it and considering it as doing something.
no, we actually did the maintenance on it back in
2019.
2019 and it was under the limit for the $2,500 limit.
What's he asking for now?
Well, that's the problem.
It-
So in in December of 2019, we had, the work was finished and then he came back to us in what, December 21?
December, yeah, I believe it was around December 20th of 21, basically 2 years later.
And he
Almost
said
to the day,
that
2 years
he
later.
possibly damaged two of his drain tile.
The drain tile
outlet.
going into it, daylighting into
Right.
it.
2
Right.
years later?
2 years later.
Well, is there a possibility we could have damaged it? The people who came out to do the maintenance on it, it's possible. I mean, we had heavy equipment out there. But, I don't know if you could wait 2 years before you come and complain. And then he decided that one of them wasn't our fault at all. And that the other one, if we could split the cost with them on a 50-50 cost. And again, it's not much. It's like $600. Is that what it is?
400 and some, I think.
Yeah, it's
I think it'd be good to keep a good relationship with Gus.
well, and that's why I'm bringing it before everybody, because,
With his land
while
ownership.
I find it troublesome that he waited for 2 years before he brought it to our attention, never provided us any proof that they were actually damaged, just provided us with pictures after the
I don't,
fact. Go ahead.
I'm gonna be real delicate here.
All right, go ahead.
Flower.
For as long as I've been on this board, Mr. Grabby has never been wanting to work in an equal fashion with this village, ever. Nor did Mr. Grabby ever have an intent to be reasonable on any project that this village needed, this community needed, or that his land needed. As a matter of fact, he charged us a premium price for land that we probably could have condemned much cheaper.
Well, I
That's
recommend that, here's the choices. The choices, we pay and be done with the $500 because,
You missed a problem.
oh, I did, what problem?
I know
Sorry.
I'm not elected, but I like to
Go
speak
ahead.
to this. So the other issue is that his drain tile is existing was a 6-inch drain tile.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently they can't locate 6-inch drain tiles to fix it. So the cost that he has proposed that we pay half of is for 8-inch drain tiles. So he is asking us to pay half of a cost for a larger
an upgrade.
tile than what we are obligated to maintain.
Okay, that's just one more issue with it. But for me, even in, I mean, it can't be that much for the 2 inches
I don't know.
for a small outlet. I'm just saying, in my opinion, it's not a ton of money.
But once it starts, it's never gonna end.
Well, my problem is that there's no proof that we did anything.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
don't know if, here's the issue. Do you want to spend $500 and so just so the hassle goes away, or do you just want to tell them no? I personally would recommend telling him no.
I would like to review the requirement that we have obligation to repair this ditch. I don't.
You can, that's fine, but we do.
Yeah, we do.
We signed an agreement, so
Yeah.
I
For an
reviewed that
indefinite
in
amount of
2000.
time?
That's what I find hard to believe, that our attorneys would.
If you would like me to, I can put the agreement in the board packet for admin and put this as an
Sure.
agenda item
Yeah.
and you can rediscuss.
Yeah,
it.
that's fine.
That would be great.
But I read it back in 2019. And trust me, if we didn't have an obligation to do the maintenance on it, I would have said no.
I can understand the concept. We increased the water flow out and we're gonna increase
By
the
a
water flow
ton.
across his village or his property, and
Right.
I get it, and there's gonna be silted over, and I understand that, and
Yeah.
we have actually a vested interest in keeping the ditch maintained, otherwise it prevents backup through our village. I
Agreed.
understand all that.
And it was relatively inexpensive to
It,
do
it,
the
wa-
maintenance.
it was,
I thought it would be a lot more money than
Yeah.
that. But my problem is that he waited for 2 years to come back to us and tell us that we damaged something
And last
And
year
didn't-
wasn't a drought.
and didn't provide us with any proof that,
You can't say you didn't know that it was damaged, because there was plenty of rain.
well, I think it's incumbent upon him to go check. If you knew we did maintenance on it, you asked us to do maintenance on it, go out there and look.
and I guess another thing, I mean, if I can add a little bit is, I mean, what is the warrant? I mean, a typical project that we do in this village is a 1-year warranty. I mean, this was 2 years. I mean, where do we draw the line there? I mean, I'm throwing that out there. I don't know.
But
It's 2 years.
It's $500. If you don't
So-
want to hassle with it, you just want to pay you half of his $1,000 invoice, then we can go that way. But we'll discuss it after we read the other thing in a couple weeks.
Does he send photos of the damage?
He
Don't
showed,
ask one.
sent photos of the actual repairs, which were done.
I have no
Okay,
luck.
nothing's damaged yet.
Oh, he's
It actually looked good, so there you go.
He's already fixed.
Yeah, oh yeah, he fixed it a long time ago. That's how he
But-
has the invoice.
But yeah, but you have four-wheelers, you have snowmobiles, you have all of those vehicles
It
that,
could have been his tractors, who knows?
right? I mean, you have all of those things that go over all those fields.
But it could have been us. I mean, there's a small chance that it was the people that we hired to.
But if it was that bad, you think he would have told us prior to?
Sure. I would expect, I think that's, it's incumbent upon you to, if you could go check your property, or if you don't find it in 2 years, you're just kind of, to me, it's on you. You know, can you imagine if we do a road project and we come back to the people who gave us a 1-year warranty on the project, which we actually had in writing
I'll tell you what,
2 years later?
I'm inclined to give him the money to repair that if I get a brand new bike path that was 3 months old that got torn up due to his property.
Good point.
That's good. The whole thing.
Like it.
Oh, that's right.
All
We
these things
waited
were,
for that to be done,
Done, yep.
paved an entire bike path, and then
Yep.
3 months later, he came in and tore it up again.
Well, that was Nike or whoever, but
No,
it.
but-
No,
no.
but
He needs
that
to
was
refinish
that
his
house.
Yeah.
That was that
Well, I
house.
know it's his, but wasn't it Nicor who took it out, put it back in?
Yes, it is.
Because they had to run?
No,
Yeah.
he paid. He paid to have it removed,
Oh, really?
and then he
That's funny.
paid to have it put back in.
There you go. And it's, I hate it when you have the patches in there, because it never.
Looks the same.
And
You
it
know, I
never,
was a happy
it-
camper when
that's
that
where you
happened.
get
It
the
doesn't feel
problem.
the same when you're riding a bike.
Anyway, to move on,
No,
we'll
do-
talk about that at our next one.
do we have to send Mr. Gravy a letter of our intentions?
Well, I
like the
assume-
Pluses and minuses?
When we
And-
make a decision, then we'll send him something.
It's still under
Or
consideration.
One of,
Because I've always found him to be amiable, you know.
no, if we send him a check, I'm sure he'll be happy with it. Otherwise, we'll have to send him a letter. That being said, we also need to, Fergie, talk with the fire chief to ask him about his portion of the job that we proposed with the sidewalk slash entrance to the fire station, and he believes that they'll be able to do that, correct?
Yeah, yes, that's what
Yeah.
I'm told.
So we're gonna move forward with that, but do we need an intergovernmental agreement?
Go ahead. Sandy,
Sorry, I'm asking Sandy.
Yep.
I did talk to Fergie about this and I said, at this point, I'd like something, an email, even just from the fire department that says that they are interested in doing this project so that the engineering can do this with the understanding that we understand they want to do it.
Right.
But then when we get actually to the project point and the bid opening has occurred and we know what dollar portion is assigned to them, I suggested we enter into an agreement similar to like we did with Scandia, that we will pay it, but they owe us.
Right.
We will add it to our
But
project.
is that
but
it
they
for
owe
us? Is that a regular agreement or an intergovernmental agreement? Because they're actually a governmental agency. It doesn't matter. Either way,
Yeah.
that's
Sandy
fine.
will figure
Let's,
it
let's,
Yeah.
let's go along with that. You can have the chief. There's whoever's authorized to send her so we can move.
It can go to anybody. I just want to make sure that we
No,
have
it
something
could- it
in
could go to you.
writing
Yeah.
before we continue.
I think
hearing.
I think you're totally correct. And that would be, having something in the formal,
Yeah.
some type of formal would be the best way to go. But I do want to get this going because the longer we sit on it, the more it's going to end up costing us.
I've talked to the engineer. It is moving forward.
All right.
So
And hopefully this'll reduce our cost because the two between them either participating or not participating would have ended up costing us on the higher end of the projection. And, this way we get the whole thing fixed. It'll look much better. It'll all come together and we can move forward. We should also, well, never mind. I'll talk to you to the rest about it. Do we have anything else for streets and dishes?
I don't believe so.
All right, then I'm done. Thank you.
Utilities.
All right, discussion on filter underdrain concrete wall seals on my agenda, but I don't think we have anything else to discuss at this moment. so.
I've been told to keep it on the agenda.
Yes, it needs to be on there, but it's nothing to be talked about at the moment, so that I'm aware of. We're still waiting on that, so. I think that's it, right? Or is there something else?
I can give real quick, the water leak, Sandy, is that
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
everything?
Yep.
Like I said, we believe we kind of found the area over here in South Elm. I think I talked about that last
Yep.
time. Okay, good. Yep. My memory's kind of going. We did remove a tree today. There was a tree about 2-3 feet away from a bee box that water shut off in the front yard that we may have to directional bore the new service if the service is leaking. But the tree needed to go anyway because it literally was only 2 or 3 feet away from the box and we couldn't dig it. So it's kind of a slow project. We're waiting to get in touch with our directional bore guy to find out if he can come out and give us a price. So the good part is, Sandy, I don't know if you want to just clue him in, but it's not as severe as we might have originally thought with our numbers. So
Oh, so,
Yay.
well,
awesome. That's what
So
we're
What were they,
we-
yay too soon?
what we're
we
thinking.
got the new program in and when I was able to do the first billing cycle, we were able to print a report with a consumption, which the new program offers and MSI did not offer. And so after putting that number in, our water loss did go down back to about 15%. So we think there might be an error. We think, Bree and I discussed it, we think there might be a leak, an error in the numbers, the filter, what are
Backwash.
the backwash, and all of these things has accumulated to this number that was compiled. And so as we continue to fine tune everything, the goal is that we'll be able to. But when I entered the number for last month, there was a higher usage, but the same amount of water being produced, which created a lower percentage of water loss. You guys will see that at the admin meeting.
So,
No,
so we're still moving forward with, like I said,
We're still-
repairing it, but it's going to take a little time because we got a lot of things to get lined up to do this. So,
Could explain why it's hard to find.
yes, exactly. So, yeah, that's all I had. Thanks.
Anything else?
It completes me.
Economic development? Building a gas station down here, if anybody didn't know.
I was gonna say, do they
and some
have,
storage units,
Storage
somebody
units.
mentioned those are starting.
I was gonna say, do-
One of
Any
them.
idea?
are
They got a sign up.
are they moving along better or no?
Well,
all we
the
seem to be.
developer and I determined today that perhaps he's sending emails that we're not receiving because they're sending large files. So we're going to fine tune that so we can get the remainder of his documents to the building inspector.
Okay.
So,
I'm pretty sure they're required to submit paper as well.
They are, but the building inspector likes the electronic because they can zoom in on whatever. So, I've been doing it through our G Drive or Google Drive, and he notified me earlier this week or last week that he emailed me things in March that I have not received.
We're probably still uploading.
I told, we do have a size restriction on our emails as we should.
Mhm.
And so he did resend them to me this afternoon in about 10 emails, so I'll take care of that. But yep. So hopefully that should be the final submittal from him, and then hopefully the building inspector will get through it.
All right.
So everybody, you just to come in here and be like, here it is.
Yeah. The storage units, by the way, have been
One of those
approved.
old
They're
school.
fully permitted. They just cannot get a final inspection until after the gas station is done. But so I'm
And
assuming
open.
that's why he's moved on to that at this point.
Public.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Chris made a motion to adjourn. Nate seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. 1941.